What's up guys, Dan here, back for another video. Today we're back talking about the Focus. So a couple weeks ago I told you I was going to do a detailed video of all the modifications I have done to this car, and as promised, that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to go one by one and show you everything I have done. That way you can kind of get an idea of what it took for me to finally consider this car fast. Because like I've said before, when I first purchased this car, it's a fun performance car, but it's definitely not fast. It's far from that. I still don't think it's the fastest car in the world, but it's a huge step up from where it was. So we're going to start from the front, just work our way to the back, and then we'll hop on the inside and go from there. So the first thing I want to show you guys, I've made a whole video about before, but I'm going to still show it to you really quick because this is probably the main performance modification on the entire car. This is a very, very important modification. One of the first things people do, especially if you live in a very hot climate. So inside this grille here, you can see an aftermarket front mount intercooler. I went with the CPE lightweight just because it's smaller, it sits further back and less weight. There are many, many options you can go with. I went with the CPE, and it tends to keep charge temperatures very, very clean, very, very cool. So now we're going to open the hood and see what we've got inside there. Okay, so here we are under the hood, guys, and it takes a keen eye to realize anything different is going on from factory here, but there are a couple of things. First thing I want to mention is you'll notice right in this area here, it kind of seems clean. There's not a lot going on. Well, from the factory, they've packed a lot of things in. Everything is super tight. You can't even get your hands in there. What I've done is I have installed what they call a Symposer delete. The Symposer is the piece of equipment that you know, sends fake sound, is what I like to call it, fake engine intake noise into the vehicle, and it just makes it sound a little cooler on the inside because from factory the exhaust is just terrible. It's very, very quiet, so they kind of sympose or put a pretend sound through. That was a huge piece of equipment that sat all in here. I've removed it, got rid of all of the ducting, plugged off the hole in the firewall. And I did that with a Steeda Symposer Delete kit, which you may or may not be able to see. It's right down here. So that's the first thing I did. The other thing I did here is, this is all kind of dirty, but this is an aftermarket cold air intake. I went with Cobb. Typically you see big white letters right here. I did not install those because I wanted to maintain a factory clean look, but this does in fact have much better airflow. You can't see, but inside this box there's also that kit came with a Cobb open end air filter, so it makes the turbo noise quite a bit louder, sounds a lot better. And then way down in here, which I know you guys can't see, but it's down there, there is a Cobb short throw shifter bracket, which just makes the shifts a lot closer together and just a lot more enjoyable to drive. I highly recommend that part. Under the hood, that's about all I've done, to be honest with you guys. Okay, so moving on around to the back side of the car here, I can't show you this entire thing without getting the car on the lift, but I have a complete catback exhaust system. It is a MagnaFlow catback exhaust system. Now, those of you who may be familiar with the catback exhaust system, you know the tailpipes look a little bit different. I was not crazy about the tailpipes on the MagnaFlow exhaust system, so I actually had the tailpipes replaced with these 4-inch tailpipes. I think they look a lot better. They're dirty at the moment. These cars blow a lot of carbon, but yeah, so getting rid of the stock exhaust was hugely important for me, but I wanted to go with something that wasn't incredibly loud, but still had a good sound to it, so I went the MagnaFlow. It was the best of both worlds. This car still has the stock catalytic converter on it, and you know, the stock downpipe. So yeah, so as far as things I've actually bolted onto the car, that's it, guys. I've got the front mount intercooler, catback exhaust, the short throw shifter, the cold air intake, and I don't think I'm forgetting anything, but where the real power comes from is actually inside the car. So we're going to take a look at that next. Okay guys, so now I'm handheld here. Hopefully it won't be too wobbly, but now we're inside the car and I'm going to show you what really is what makes this car have a huge difference in power. Now we are sitting still. If you see these, this is my Cobb Accessport version 3. This is the heart of what allows you to implement new tunes and adjust various things in your car. Now you'll notice, because we were sitting still, the charge air temperatures are starting to rise up. Ambient temperature is about 90 degrees. I actually think that's what the car is saying. I actually think it's more than that. When you're moving it, typically the charge temps will stay -10, +10 of ambient temperature. So you are going to see it rise since we're sitting here. That's pretty typical of any kind of turbocharged car. So this is pretty cool, guys, because what this does is it allows you to install an aftermarket tune. So I'm going to back out. Those are just gauges I watch every day, all the time, just to make sure I'm not overdoing anything, cooking the engine per se. But you can do a lot of troubleshooting in this little, just collects data, and it'll tell you what engine codes the lights might be on, what you need to fix. This is where you go in and change your tunes. I'll show you that in a second. This is where I can uninstall completely and unmap this with my car if I ever wanted to sell it or something like that. I never will go into that probably until I get rid of it, of course. So tune, you can see here I've got quite a few tunes in this car. You can change the map, you can restore the stock tune. And when you buy the Cobb Accessport, it actually comes with several various tunes, like a 91 tune, 93 tune, and some other tunes. And there's like a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. I never really used those. I went ahead and I'll show you what I have here, guys. I went ahead and purchased a stratified E30 tune. That is what I am running right now. And it actually came with 2 tunes, one with the pops, one without the pops. And I go back and forth to which one I use. Sometimes I like it. Right now I'm running it with the pops. Because my exhaust is mellow, you don't hear them that much. So it's just a very mild kind of burble, and I actually like that a little bit. It looks like it's actually raining, so we made it just in time before we got wet outside. Anyway, so that just shows you what we got here. Stage 0, stage 1, that's the straight out of the box tune, 87 octane, 93, 90, 91, 93. It's got stage 1, stage 2. I never touch those. I use one of my stratified tunes always. They're the best performing that I've had so far, and I've had no complaints, no issues with it. So we're gonna back out of this now. And then, so you got the gauges, which you saw before, guys. You've got performance, which is pretty cool. You can do 0 to 60, 1/4 mile. Also built into the tune via the Accessport, I have launch control. That I can go in and adjust. Actually, here, I think I can show you that. So you can go in through your tune, you can go to Ecu Adjustments, and you can see here, once it picks them up, I can change the rev limiter, I can change launch control limit, hard cut, soft cut. That's with boost or without boost. Those of you who don't know what that is, I typically run soft cut because the front wheel drive, it's difficult to launch this car under boost. So I do a soft cut, that's no boost. And then it builds boost as I get going. But I don't really use that much. I probably will once I do more track time. You can change map slots, so that's cool. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Change traction control slip multiplier. Stratified has a really good traction control system. I always run it. I completely disengage the factory traction control and I use the stratified traction control. It's just a lot better. It works better, it's less intrusive, and you get a lot more performance out of the car. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. I've got all of those things set up to turn on automatically. Let's talk about what I said I was going to talk about. Changing the map slots. So within the Cobb Accessport, there are actually 5 different slots that you can use. So without having to retune the car here, guys, I have my E30 tune, which I run primarily. I've got a 93 tune in case I can't find E30, and I've got a 91 tune. And then that leaves 2 more slots. One of them is a low power tune. If I want to be out on the highway, I've got I think it's limited to 7 pounds of boost. It still revs up all the way. It just has lower boost. You get better fuel economy. It's still plenty of power for the highway and stuff like that. And then the other one, I can't remember. I think the other one was like a valet or something. It completely takes the power, but I don't really ever let anybody else drive my car unless I know them, so I don't need the valet mode. So that's pretty cool because that's a swap on the go, and I'm going to back this out and show you how you do that here. Hopefully you can see this. So you basically hit the cancel button, and you can see I'm on slot 3 now. When I hit cancel again, it goes back to the regular revs of the car. But if I hit cancel, it's on slot 3. That is my E30 tune. Now, if I hit that again and I hit down, it'll put me on 93. Down again, that's the 91 tune. And then, of course, up to 4 and 5 are the other 2 tunes I was talking about. But I always leave it on 3. So that's pretty cool. You can do that on the fly. You can do that with or without the Accessport in the car. The other cool thing that the stratified tune has via the Accessport, there's a lot of cool stuff Accessport allows, is it has flat foot shifting. Now, I haven't used that much. I've tested it out a couple of times, but basically that you can keep your foot completely down, and the ECU will turn the throttle off momentarily as you step on the clutch. So you never have to take your foot off the gas. In a drag racing environment, I suppose that would be something that people would enjoy. The thing about it is, though, guys, I am used to using the clutch, so I typically go back to using the clutch, you know what I mean? So yeah, so the big power adder here, guys, is it's going to be the stratified tune working together with all the modifications that I showed you outside the car. So that's those things all combined together are what is really going to make your car very, very fast. I highly recommend a tune. I know people are worried about warranties and things like that, but again, I've said this before, if you buy a car like this, you're buying it for the fun of it, so use it. Now, we've been sitting here, this car has been sitting probably 30 minutes at least, and I want to show you something here. Hopefully you read that bottom number, that charge temperature, 110 degrees. If I was on the factory intercooler right now, I would be probably 120, 130 degrees charge temperature right now, which is way too hot. Of course, it doesn't matter when you're sitting still. As soon as you start to move, that temperature will drop back down, but I'm just saying, you can see how the aftermarket intercooler, even at a position where you're sitting completely still, works a lot better than an aftermarket, than a stock intercooler. So that's why I highly recommend it. So yeah, I mean, you guys, you have no idea how far the throws used to be on this car, but you know, you can see that these throws are pretty short now with that Cobb bracket that I showed you guys, and it's nice and solid. Everything feels good, which I had no complaints. This car really was good to begin with. I really had no complaints. It was a really fun car, just needed more power. So that's what I did. I added more power to it. So that's a look at everything I've got, guys. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. There's a good chance I may have, but I think I showed you the main things. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, I'm going to end this video here. I appreciate all of you guys checking out these videos as well as the gaming videos. And if there's anything else you want to see with the car, just let me know. I've got more sim racing videos and more car videos coming up, as well as some other stuff. We're going to mix it up for you. So remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified every time I have a video come out. And other than that, that's all I've got to say, guys. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.